by my honor and glory, O my angels, O residents of my heavens. Verily I have not created the erected sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, and the flowing seas and the sailing ships, but for your sake and love. God has given me permission to enter the cloak with you. May I join you, O Prophet of Allah? The Prophet replied, and peace be on you, O trusted bearer of Allah's revelations. You are granted the permission. So Jibreel entered the cloak with us, and said to my father, Allah sends his revelations to you. Verily Allah's desire is to remove blemish from you, O people of the household, and purify you with a perfect purification. Then Ali said to my father, O Prophet of Allah, tell me, what significance has Allah given for getting together underneath the cloak? The Prophet replied, by him who rightfully appointed me a prophet and chose me a messenger for the salvation of mankind. Whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, Allah will bestow on them His blessings and mercy. Angels will encircle them, asking Allah the remission of their sins until the assembly disperse. So Ali said, verily, by the Lord of the Kaaba, we and our followers are the winners. Then my father replied, by him who rightfully appointed me a prophet and chose me a messenger for the salvation of mankind. Whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, there shall remain none grieved, but Allah shall remove his grief. There shall remain none distressed, but Allah will dispel his distress. There shall remain none wish seeker, but Allah will grant his wish. Ali happily said, verily by the Lord of the Kaaba, we and our followers are the winners and the blessed in this world and the next.
Please recite another loud salat. Next, we'll have a short salam recited by Brother Muhammad. Salat.
Salawat. Zainul Abidin, tell us of what happened to you. Oh Zainul Abidin, tell us of what happened to you. Oh Zainul Abidin, tell us of what happened to you. Of the letters the Kufan sent, with Hussein to the land you went. Of the letters the Kufan sent, with Hussein to the land you went, that you have come with your back bent. Kufa, supporting Umayyad to kill Kufa. So much holy blood did you spill, Kufa. How could you let us down this way, Kufa? To Hussein you stopped the water, Kufa. My father, how could you slaughter Kufa? How could you let us down this way, Zainul Abidin? Tell us of what happened to you. Oh Zainul Abidin, tell us of of what happened to you. O Zainul Abidin, tell us of what happened to you. When they captured you on that night, taken to Sham after the fight. When they captured you on that night, taken to Sham after the fight, that you have come with your hair white. Sham, shamelessly parading us, why Sham? You made Sakina cry and cry, Sham. Never did we face such sorrows, Sham. We were buried under your sun, Sham. You made Zainab an old woman, Sham. Never did we face such sorrows, Sham. Sham, Sham, Sham. Zainul Abidin, tell us of what happened to you. Oh, Zainul Abidin, tell us of what happened to you. Oh, Zainul Abidin, tell us of what happened to you. Salawat.
Please recite another loud thought for Brother Muhammad for that recitation of Salam. Just a couple of quick announcements before we start the program. Just one announcement is that we have sponsors available for English Majlis, so anybody interested, brothers can see Brother Abdul Sabr or Brother Jafar Rizvi, and sisters can see Sister Masuma Shirazi for details. And the second announcement is that we request everyone to please put their phones on silence and move up a little bit close as possible for proper Majlis etiquette. Without further ado, I'd like to invite Sheikh Abdul Jalil to the member with a loud salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، حبيبي وحبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد، وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين ذاب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. Request of Surah Al-Fatiha for المرحوم سيد أزهر سجاد محمودة بيغم، سيد زهير حيدر زيدي، سيدة رئيسة زيدي، سيدة أزرا زيدي. May Allah be pleased with their souls. سورة المباركة الفاتحة. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله، صلى الله عليك يا نبي الله، صلى الله عليك وعلى أهل بيتك الميامين. يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. Together. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلوات على محمد. اللهم صل. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله العلي العظيم في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى، ومن يقترف حسنة نزد له فيها حسنا، إن الله غفور شكور. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على. Our condolences tonight goes to Az-Zahra alayhi salam and the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, and also to the Imam of our time, Al-Imam Sahib al-Asr wa zaman, روحي وأرواح روحي وأرواح العالمين لتربة مقدمه الفداء. And also our condolences goes to the Ummah at large for the martyrdom of Al-Imam Ali ibn al-Husayn Zayn al-Abidin Salamullahi alayhi. Allahumma salli ala. And specifically our condolences goes to the Shia of our community in Maryland, the community of Idara Ja'fariyah. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are true followers of Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, and may the Almighty Allah grant to all of you the shafa'ah of Imam Zayn al-Abidin on the day of judgment, insha'Allah. Tonight, as we are commemorating the death or martyrdom anniversary of Imam Zayn al-Abidin, I want to focus on the pain and suffering of Imam Zayn al-Abidin. More often, we don't talk about what happened after the tragedy of Karbala. We often normally talk about what happened prior to the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. But there are many things that took place which was so hurtful to Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam specifically, and he mentioned in his speeches that everything that happened on the day of Ashura is hurtful, from depriving people from water, from killing the innocent people and innocent lives, to the killing of children and beating women, and the list goes on. It's all painful. But Imam Zayn al-Abidin Salamullah alayh, he said the most painful of all the tragedies of Karbala is the tragedy of killing Ali al-Asghar. And he said, I never ever sat and remember the tragedy of Karbala and not remember the tragedy of Ali al-Asghar. However, not only this is a tragedy, even after the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, there were many and many painful things that happened. And tonight, we want to examine history so that you understand when the history tells you after the tragedy of Karbala, whenever they put a food in front of Imam Zayn al-Abidin, the food often mixed with the tears of Imam Zayn al-Abidin. Then you understand what exactly Imam Zayn al-Abidin went through to get him to this point where when they put food in front of him, the food has to mix with these tears. And not only that, historically it's mentioned that after the tragedy of Karbala, Imam Zayn al-Abidin joined the list of what we call al-Bakka'un, the most crying people in the world. Prior to Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, we have many prophets, many individuals who are known to be the most crying people. But Imam Zayn al-Abidin, after the tragedy of Karbala, he joined them. And he became one of those who are counted the most crying people. Then you understand. Now what happened? Number one, you know, after the killing of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, the first tragedy that Imam Zayn al-Abidin have to experience and the pain that he has to go through is to witness the abuse of his father's body. Now, to kill his father is one thing, but to sit there or to stand there and watch what Bani Umayyah did to his father's body, that also is another issue. What happened? Historically, it is mentioned that after they killed all the shuhada, including Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, Umar bin Sa'ad, the first thing he said, I want you to abuse all those shuhada. Then they ask him, how should we abuse them? So you jump on all the bodies with your horses. The first thing happened after this announcement was the family of Hur. They came to Umar bin Sa'ad. They say, Umar bin Sa'ad, you given a statement that you allow your soldiers to abuse the corpse. It's fine. But one thing we're not going to let you do, and that is to abuse the corpse of Hur bin Yazid al-Rayyan. You killed him, that's one thing. But to abuse his body, it's not acceptable. Umar bin Sa'ad then said, okay, what do you want to do with his body? I said, we want you to give it the body. He said, take the body. They took the body of Hur, and that is why today, historically, you see that all the shuhada were buried along with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. The only shaheed who was not buried with Imam was Hur. And the reason is because when they wanted to abuse the bodies, Hur's family refused. And they took the body of Hur and they buried him where the body is buried today. Now, after they took Hur's body, who was the stranger who didn't have somebody to vote or to say something about their bodies? Al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Now when you hear they call Imam Hussein al-Gharib, the stranger who has nobody to talk or voice for him, this is one of the reasons. Umar ibn Sa'ad then laid down the bodies. The first body in line was Imam Hussein's body. And the horses were lined up and coming to jump on the body of Abu Abdullah and his soldiers, one after the other. A beautiful poem stated the incident, saying that those horses, as they come to jump, horses, they're very smart animals. They know wrong and right. As they come to jump on those bodies, because they were forced to do it, they turn their neck somewhere else. The poem, it says, Al-A'wajiyya. Al-I'wajaj in Arabic, meaning turning away. They don't want to do it, but because they were forced, so they turn their neck as they jump on those bodies. And they jump on the body of Imam Hussein and his companions. And they destroy the body with those horses. And imagine Imam Zayn al-Abidin was watching his father and his body was being treated this way. Today in America, when you kill someone and you abuse the corpse, is considered one of the crimes. But this is what happened to Imam al-Hussein and his companions' body after they killed them. Imam Zayn al-Abidin saw that, and that was the first pain of Imam Zayn al-Abidin. Now I wish this was the only pain he went through. Now after all of these, then the next abuse comes in line. What is it? Then Umar ibn Sa'ad, he said, I want you to take everything on those shuhada. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, on the day of Ashura, he was wearing the turban of Rasulullah, the aba of Rasulullah, the qaba of Rasulullah, so that at least they will have respect to his body and this cloth that he was wearing. Did any of this stop those Bani Umayyah? Nothing. They took everything from the turban to the aba, to the qaba, to even the ring of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Historically, it is mentioned when they started fighting who takes what upon the body of Imam, the body of Shuhada, Ash-Shimr bin Zuljawshan, la'natullahi alayh, he wanted to take the ring of Abu Abdullah. As he came and he was pulling the ring, because of the blood that went through the body and the finger, it was very difficult for him to take the ring. So to get the ring, he has to cut the finger of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, so he can get to that ring. They took the turban, they took the amama, the aba and kaba. Historically, it is said that Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he asked an inside shirt, so that even if they are to take the aba and kaba, they will leave the inside shirt for him. Do you think they did that? They didn't even spare the inside shirt of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. All of that was taken from him, and they let the body laying there without clothes or anything. Can you imagine the pain that Imam Zayn al-Abidin went through? Now, in Islam, when a person dies, it's one of the requirements of the family of the deceased to protect the dignity of the marhum, the father of the deceased. That is why in Islam, when somebody dies, Islam says the recommendation of whom to wash the body, goes to the family of the deceased so that they keep the dignity of the deceased. Now imagine Imam Zain al-Abidin was not allowed to even get close to the body of his father. And his father were to left on the land of Karbala for days, bila ghuslin wala kafan. That was one of the pain of Imam Zain al-Abidin salamullahi alayh. That's number 2. Number 3. After all of that, then the next pain of Imam Zain al-Abidin was to witness those enemies going to the children and women and pulling their earrings and their necklaces and the bracelets. Sukaina salamullahi alayha, she was bleeding because of Shimr bin Zuljawshan. He was pulling the earrings from the ears of these women. She ran to Imam Zain al-Abidin while her ears were bleeding, complaining to Imam Zain al-Abidin what she was going through. Imam ran to Shimr bin Zuljawshan, Ya Shimr, malak wal nisa. What are you doing with those women? You killed their husbands. You killed their fathers. And that is not enough? Now what do you want? He said to Imam Zain al-Abidin, I want those golds, those earrings. Imam Zain al-Abidin said, leave them alone. I will gather all those jewelries for you. Just leave them alone. Imam Zain al-Abidin have to go around those women and ask all of them. He said, give me your earrings. Give me your bracelets and necklaces. He gathered all of them and he took them to Umar bin Saad. Some narrations say he took them to Shimr bin Zuljawshan, because it's historical, it's mentioned that Shimr was obsessed with gold. He was a gold lover. So Imam Zain al-Abidin took the gold, said, take it. When Imam Zain al-Abidin gave him the gold, he told him, Ya Shimr, you took the gold ghasban, against the will of those women. La nafa'ak. It's not going to benefit you. And surely enough, that's what happened. None of the golds that he took benefit him. It said that when he took the golds, he went home. The first thing Shimr did was to give to his daughter. And he told his daughter, take this gold, use it as you want. The daughter took the gold. He went to a man who's supposed to melt the gold and use it, shape it the way she wanted it. But the moment they put the gold in the fire, it melted. Not because the gold was not good. They were all good golds. But the dua of Imam Zain al-Abidin. The word, La nafa'aka dhahab. Ya Shimr, those gold will not benefit you. The daughter ran to him, Ya Shimr, the gold you gave me all melted. Say, how could that be? I tested it. I know they're real gold. He tested the gold in front of him. They were real gold. He took the rest with his daughter. He went to the man in front of him. They put the gold in the fire. It melted and was not able to benefit from that gold. But that is one of the pain of Imam Zain al-Abidin salamullahi alayhi. That he has to deal with this. Saw his aunt Zainab salamullahi alayha, his sisters, they have to go through these ears that was bleeding, necks that were bleeding because of Shimr and Umar bin Saad. And he witnessed that. Now, not only that, brothers and sisters, one of the pain and suffering of Imam Zain al-Abidin is that when they were rounding up all those families of Ahlul Bayt, they have to pull those women to walk in between the shuhada. You know how painful could that be? To see a man or a woman is being dragged and you watching, this is my brother, this is my husband, this is my son, this is my cousin, this is my brother. They were dragged to witness that. And you know, this is one of the violations. And in Islam, it's haram. After you kill a person, drag the relative to see the dead body of their family. Imam Zain al-Abidin and Zainab and all those women, they were pulled and dragged between those shuhada against you. And I wish it was just this. I wish it was just that it will be a bit easy for Imam Zain al-Abidin. That right after they round them up, then they brought chains and they chained the hands of Imam Zain al-Abidin. They chained the legs of Imam Zain al-Abidin. And can you imagine how Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi dealt with the prisoners in Mecca who happened to be kuffar, mushrikeen, and Rasulullah dealt with them with respect and honor. These are the people who hurt Rasulullah when he was in Mecca. When the things on the table turned, Rasulullah was now in charge. Bani Umayyah, Abu Sufyan, they were all captives. And Rasulullah treated them with respect. Not only that, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, when they captured Ibn Muljam al-Muradi, a prisoner, they brought Imam Ali in alayhi salam. Imam Ali said, I want to talk to him. They brought Ibn Muljam. Imam Ali looked at him. He was a prisoner. Imam Ali says, Ya Ibn Muljam, alam akun ni'mal imam lak. Allahu Akbar. Imam was asking Ibn Muljam, wasn't I a good imam to you? Wasn't I kind to you? Didn't I give you from Bayt al-Mal? Didn't I treat you good? Didn't I respect you? Ibn Muljam, la'natullahi alayh, as a prisoner, he himself, in response to Imam Ali, he said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, afa anta tunqidhu man fi an-nar. Ya Ali, are you going to save someone who happened to be already in the hellfire? He is telling Imam Ali, I'm already in hellfire. I know I'm wrong. Now, Imam Ali alayhi salam turned to Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. He said, Bunayya al-Hasan, he's your prisoner. Yes. He said, Usquhu mimma tashrabun. Make sure he drinks whatever you drink. وَطْعِمُوهُ مِمَّا تَأْكُلُونَ. He said, make sure you feed him whatever you eat. And then he says, I don't allow you to mistreat him because he killed your father. Now, this are lesson we are left to learn from Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, to know the difference between Ahlul Bayt and the enemies, so that you understand the value of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. These are the mushrikeen, Khawarij. This is how Imam Ali was treating him. Now, how did those Bani Umayyah treated Imam Zain al-Abidin after they took them as prisoners? They put a chain on the neck of Imam Ali and Imam Zain al-Abidin. They put a chain on his arms and legs. They put Imam Zain al-Abidin on the camel. And they put women also on those camels too. And I wish this is all the end of the story. The story doesn't end here, brothers and sisters. The next tragedy was Imam Zain al-Abidin to witness how the enemies are fighting among themselves. Who will take which head to go and seek the compensation in front of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad? Who will take 2 heads? Who will take 3? Who will take which? And on top of that, who will take the head of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam? Imagine a person like Imam Zain al-Abidin sitting there watching his head, his father's head, his brothers, Imam Zain Imam Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, and Abdullah Radi or Ali al-Asghar, Ali al-Akbar, Muslim bin Awsaj, Zuhair, and the rest of the companions, their heads are being divided among the companions. So they can take it to Umar bin Sa'ad, and they can take it to Ubaidullah bin Ziyad, so that who can get much more money or position or power. After they divided them, who gets what? Then they brought the head back before they take them to Ubaidullah bin Ziyad. Then they put all of those heads on the spears. And the first head was the head of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And then the rest of the heads follows. And then the children of Imam Hussein right after the head of Imam Hussein. Now imagine the pain of Imam Zain al-Abidin. If you and I were to be in the shoes of Imam Zain al-Abidin, all of this, now this is your father's head, is raised on the spears, right? And right behind that, you are right there, watching the head of your father being raised and taking it from one place to another. That was one of the pain of Imam Zain al-Abidin. And I wish this is the end of the story, brothers and sisters. But there is more that Imam Zain al-Abidin have to go through. The worst of all is the humiliation that they put Imam Zain al-Abidin and the family of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. To the point where it's mentioned that Sakina, she looked at the head of her father and she asked her aunt Zainab, Ya Amma, my aunt, do you have some money? Zainab asked her, why do you ask for money? What do you want money for? She said, I want to give the person carrying my father's head to put the head down because the humiliation is too much. Sukaina is a young girl, huh? And she could understand that pain and suffering of humiliation, right? Now imagine Zain al-Abidin salamullahi alayhi. Imagine Imam Zain al-Abidin being in this situation and the humiliation that he went through. Not only that, I wish this is the end of the story, brothers and sisters. But there is more pain for Imam Zain al-Abidin. What is more painful is that to twist the truth and tell the people the false when the truth is there for the people to be told. Umar bin Sa'ad and his people, they told the people that these are Khawarij. These are enemies of Islam. And people bought it and believed in it. So as they bring them as a prisoners, as they pass by with people they pass by people were cursing Imam Zain al-Abidin. They were saying bad words to Imam Zain al-Abidin. Now imagine you being killed, or they killed your father, they killed your brothers, they killed other companions of your father, and then on top of that, they painted you are the worst person too. And Imam Zain al-Abidin passed by and he hears people are talking against him. One of them look at Imam Zain al-Abidin and he says, Alhamdulillahi alladhi fadahakum. He said, praise be to Allah who exposed you. And Imam Zain al-Abidin is listening to this. Of all what I went through, now I have to defend myself that I am innocent. Of all what I went through, now I have to hear people telling me I'm the guilty person. And I'm at fault. And I'm the wrong one. And Imam Zain al-Abidin have to defend himself. It happened this in Sham. When Imam Zain al-Abidin, as they were taking them to the castle of Yazid, a man came from the masjid. He saw Imam Zain al-Abidin because he was the only man. As he looked at him, he said, Alhamdulillahi alladhi fadahakum. All praise belong to Allah who exposed your falseness. And Imam was listening. All praise belongs to Allah who defeated you. And Imam is listening to this. All praise belongs to Allah who humiliated you. And Imam is listening to this. But Imam have to answer and respond to this. Imam turned to the man and says, Ya Rajul, hal qara'at al-Quran? He said, have you read Quran? He said, Bala, this is my Quran. I just came from the masjid. I read Quran. Then Imam has to put himself in defense position, that he has to defend himself. He asked the man, هل قرأت قول الله قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى. Have you read this ayah where Allah said to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, tell your companions, I expect no reward from you other than to love my family. He said, indeed I read that. He said, do you know who are the qurba that Allah is talking about in this verse? He said, no. He said, we are the qurba that Allah is talking about. He said, not only that, have you read this ayah? إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. He said, yes, I read this ayah. He said, do you know who are those individuals? He said, no, I don't. He said, we are the Ahlul Bayt. He said, have you read this ayah? Allah talks about them in the Quran. أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولو الأمر منكم. He said, yes. He said, we are those people. Then the man started crying. This is the situation that they have to put Imam Zain al-Abidin to face this kind of situation after all he went through. Now, not only that, I wish this is the end of the story. When they took Imam Zain al-Abidin and the women from the Karbala, from the land of Karbala where the martyrdom of Imam Hussein took place, they brought them to Kufa. Now they have to take them throughout the entire city of Kufa, where everybody is pointing fingers at them. Everybody is looking at them. Those who are mocking them, mocking. Those who are laughing at them, laughing. Those who are wondering who are they. Everything that you can think of, they have to go through that. And that is why Zainab Salamullah alayha, when they got to Sham, he looked at Yazid and he said, Ya Yazid, Amin al-Adli, is it fair to you and to us that you kept your daughters and your wives and your women safe, and you took the daughters of Rasulullah from one city to another in humiliation after humiliation, in disrespect after disrespect? You say, how fair is this? How can you call this fairness when this is how you treat the family of the Prophet? That's how they treated Imam Zain al-Abidin and the family of the Prophet. Not only that, when they took them to the castle of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, that is where the beginning of the challenge started. As they walk into the castle, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, he started to mock them. The first thing he did was to ask all those family of the Prophet, they should take their hijab off. For the first time in the life of Zainab Salamullahi alayha, the daughter of Imam al-Hussein Salamullahi alayha, Ruqayya, Sakina, all of them to lose, and those women to lose that hijab was aftermath of Karbala. And I wish they just took that hijab and let them alone. After they took that hijab off, they had the soldiers of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad with the stick hitting those women and those children. Can you imagine the pain of Imam Zain al-Abidin watching his aunt and his sisters going through all of these, and he is the only man watching all of this pain? To the point where it is mentioned that Zainab Salamullah alayha, she looked at the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and she started to speak to Imam Hussein, Ya Aba Abdullah, Aina Ant? where are you to save women and children? I said, where are you to feel the pain and the agony of those stick of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad on us? And Imam Zain al-Abidin, as a man among those women, hearing all of this, and he cannot do anything. That is the pain of Imam Zain al-Abidin, salamullahi alayhi. When they got to that castle of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, he looked at those women and those children, and he wants to one after the other, and he was asking them, who are you? What is your name? Where are you from? Some of those women, they didn't like to raise their head because of the way they were raised. But Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad have to put stick under their neck and raise their head against their will and force them to speak to them without hijab in this situation. And Imam Zain al-Abidin is watching and looking at what these women are going through. The turn came to Imam Zain al-Abidin, salamullahi alayhi, where they ask him, Man ant? Who are you? Imam Zain al-Abidin said, Ismi Ali ibn al-Husayn. My name is Ali, son of Hussein. Then Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad looked at him and he said, أَوَلَيْسَ قَدْ قَتَلَ اللَّهُ عَلِيًّا. Isn't Allah already killed Ali and he's dead? Imam Zain al-Abidin looked at him and he said, لا كان لي أخا اسمه علي قتله الناس. My dear brothers and sisters, there is a very important message from this message of Imam Zain al-Abidin. We shouldn't allow the oppressors in the world, whether today or tomorrow, to use words of the Quran for their own benefit. Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, he wanted to twist the truth in front of Imam Zain al-Abidin, telling Imam Zain al-Abidin, oh, you have a brother called Ali, that Ali was killed by Allah. He wants to get himself off the hook and put the blame on Allah. This is very important, brothers and sisters. Do you know this same message of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad today, as we speak, is used by the oppressors in the Muslim world today? Today, if you see the Muslim world today, most of them are not standing against the injustice because of this notion of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. Because they telling people, whatever is happening in the world is happening because Allah wanted it to happen. Whatever is happening by the wish of Allah. And what that means, if Imam Zain al-Abidin was put in that situation, it's because Allah wanted that to happen. So, you and I should not blame Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. You and I should not blame Yazid, because that's what Allah wants. But Imam Zain al-Abidin and the true teaching of Islam tells us, no, that's not what Allah wanted. That was something that Bani Umayyah wanted, and it's against the will of Allah. And Imam Zain al-Abidin responded by saying to him, كَانَ لِيَ أَخْ قَتَلَهُ النَّاسِ. My brother Ali al-Akbar was killed by people. Which means, you, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, don't put the blame on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is one of the notions. Now, then after that, they took Imam Zain al-Abidin salamullahi alayhi, and those women with those chains on the neck and the hands and legs from the Kufa all the way to Sham. Now imagine the trip from Kufa to Sham, and those women and those children were put in the chains that in the narration said, by the time they get to Sham, some of the children, when they took the chains off, they fall dead. Some of those children, they didn't die because of the chain was on their hand, because it was too heavy for them to even carry. Even Imam Zain al-Abidin salamullah alayh, when they took the chain off, you can see the marks of those chain in the hands and the legs and the neck of Imam Zain al-Abidin salamullah alayh. Can you imagine the pain and the suffering of Imam Zain al-Abidin? That he has to witness all of this. And when they took them to Sham, they let them outside the castle of Ubaidillah ibn Ziyad for days. They are sitting there because Yazid is not ready to meet with them yet. So they have to put outside. People come watching, looking how humiliation that could be. That Imam Zain al-Abidin have to go through that. Then when they finally allowed them to come to the castle of Yazid with those heads, when they put the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam on the table in front of Yazid la'natullahi alayhi, and Yazid had a stick in his hands in which he was hearing the lips of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. And Imam Zain al-Abidin is watching this. This is my father. This is the lips Rasulullah used to kiss. This is the lips of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. Now can you imagine, according to the history, there was a Christian who was sitting there who could not handle to see the way that Yazid was treating the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He came and said to Yazid, Irfa' yadak. Lift your nasty hand on these lips of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. فَلَكَدْ رَأَيْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ, I saw Rasulullah was respecting those lips and those head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And Yazid became angry as why the man was talking to him that way. And he wanted to kill him. And the man said to him, Ya Yazid, I say, you want to kill me, so be it. But allow me to say the shahadatain before you take my life. The man have to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Then he was murdered because he was against the way Yazid was treating the head of Imam Hussein. Now imagine the agony and the pain and the suffering of Imam Zain al-Abidin. Now this Christian, he was not the son of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. His father is not Imam Hussein alayhi salam. But he could not even handle how the head of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein was treated. Now imagine Imam Zain al-Abidin, what pain he was going through. Imam Zain al-Abidin, not only that, after all of that, when they came to the castle of Yazid, Yazid looked at him and he started mocking them, laughing at Zainab salamullahi alayha, laughing at Imam Zain al-Abidin and the companions. And that is where Zainab salamullahi alayha, she stood in that castle in front of Yazid la'natullahi alayh, and she made that statement. And that statement was, she said, Ya Yazid, اكسع سعيك وكد كيدك فوالله لا تمحو ذكرنا. Say, Ya Yazid, do you think doing all what you're doing, you will at some point wipe our memory, our names in the heart of people, and the love that Allah placed in the heart of people? He said, listen, Ya Yazid, Wallahi, do as much as you want to do. Plot as much as you want to plot. But one thing you have to remember and keep in mind is that no matter what you do, you cannot wipe our memory the way Allah wrote in the hand, in the head and the heart of people. That was when Imam Zain al-Abidin salamullahi alayh, he stood and said to Yazid, Ya Yazid, اسمح لي أن أسعد هذه الأعواد لأقول كلمات لله فيهن رضا وللجالسين أجر وثواب. Ya Yazid, allow me to sit on this podium, to say words which pleases Allah, and also the audience get the reward and thawab from Allah. Yazid didn't want to do that because he knew what Imam Zain al-Abidin is going to say will not be something that he is expecting. It's not something that is going to be in his favor. So in the beginning he refused. But the people around him said, Ya Yazid, ismah, allow him to speak. Imam Zain al-Abidin sat on that minbar. The first thing Imam Zain al-Abidin did was to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then after that he praised Rasulullah and Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Then right after that he went through to identify and introduce himself. He says, Ayyuhan nas, man arafani faqad arafani, wa man lam ya'rifni arraftuhu binasabi. So you people, whoever knows me knows me. Who doesn't know me, let me introduce myself to you. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Ali ibn al-Husayn, who are you? Tell us. Now, do you understand how Imam Zain al-Abidin introduced himself? He said, Ayyuhan nas, if you want to know me, he said, Ana ibn Zamzam was Safa. You want to know who I am? Don't listen to Yazid on all the lies that he has told you. We are Khawarij, we are Mushrikeen, we are bad people. He said, we are the Safa and Zamzam. When you go to Mecca and you go between Safa and Marwa, that is one of the sha'air of Islam. Our grandfather Ibrahim, he is our ancestor, and then led to our Prophet Rasulullah. This is who we are. He then goes to describe himself. He said, I ana ibn Muhammad al-Mustafa. If you don't know who I am the son of Muhammad al-Mustafa. Then as he continued to identify himself, he identified himself. He says, Ana ibn al-Madhbuh bi Karbala. I am the son of who was slaughtered in Karbala. Ana ibn al-Madhlum bi Karbala. I am the son of the one who was oppressed in Karbala. Ana ibn al-Maqtul atshanan bi Karbala. I am the son of the one who was murdered while he was tested in Karbala. When Imam Zain al-Abidin continued to identify himself, that was when Yazid saw that this is going in the wrong direction. He called a man. He says, Adhin, Aqim, call Adhan. To interrupt is Imam Zain al-Abidin. The Adhan started. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Imam Zain al-Abidin was sitting on the minbar. He said, Wallahi kabbarta kabiran la yuqas. He said, indeed you have mentioned a greater one that cannot be compared with anything. Then he says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Say, yes, indeed, shahida bidhalika jasadi wa lahmi wa mukhi wa dami wa azmi. Say, yes, indeed, my hair, my flesh, my blood, my skin, they all bear witness that there is no God but Allah. When he says, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Imam Zain al-Abidin, salamullahi alayh, he said to Yazid, Ya Yazid, am Muhammadun jaddi am jadduk? So let me ask you, Ya Yazid, that Muhammad that is called in Adhan, is he your grandfather or my grandfather? Which one? Yazid was looking at Imam Zain al-Abidin. Then Imam Zain al-Abidin said to him, Ya Yazid, in kulta jadduk faqad kadhabta wa kafart. If you dare to say that Muhammad is your grandfather, then you are a liar and disbeliever. Wa in kulta jaddi, if you say he is my grandfather, falima qatalta abi al-Husayn bi Karbala. Why did you kill my father on the day of Ashura? Now the saddest part of all is on the day of Ashura, they killed Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The narration says as he was falling from the horse, Imam Hussein made a call to his Shia where he says, Shi'ati ma in sharibtum ma'an adban fadhkuruni aw sami'tum bigharibin aw shahidin fandubuni. He says, oh my Shia, wherever you are in the world, if at any moment come into your life where you get access to delicious water, when you get water to drink, I say, remember your Imam Hussein alayhi salam, where he was denied access to water. He died thirsty without water. I said, not only that, if by any chance you heard about any stranger or you heard about any shaheed, I say, remember me and cry for my oppression that I went through. Imam Zayn al-Abidin reminded us also. He said, on that day my father said, Shi'ati, my Shia. I said, anytime you heard about any oppression, remember my oppression. When I ask my enemies to give water for my son Ali al-Asghar, and they didn't have mercy upon that child. I said, not only that, when I asked them to give my son water, instead they gave him an arrow which came and slaughtered him from Jagulavin to other Jagulavin. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, not only Imam Zayn al-Abidin, he said the worst of all the tragedies of Karbala was the tragedy of my brother Ali al-Asghar. They asked him, what happened to that tragedy? He said, I was watching my brother in the arm of my father. When he was hoping for water, his lips were dried. He was waiting for a drop of water. Suddenly they gave him an arrow which came and slaughtered him from one Jagulavin to other Jagulavin. Imam Zayn al-Abidin said, I saw my brother, he was moving around like a bird that was slaughtered. Tonight, like tonight, Imam Zayn al-Abidin was on his house when he was given the poison. His son Muhammad al-Baqir, he said, I saw my father Zayn al-Abidin yuqallibu yaminan wa shimala, was turning right and left from the pain of that poison. Right after that, he said to his son Muhammad al-Baqir, he said, Bunayya anta khalifati fihim. He said, from tonight you are the next Khalifa after me. Imam Zayn al-Abidin remembered the final moment of his father on the day of Ashura, when Imam Hussein hugged Ali Zayn al-Abidin, and he said to him, my son, this is my final moment with you. I am departing from this world and you are the next Imam after me. Imam Zayn al-Abidin remembered that, and he passed out from remembering the tragedy of his father. He turned and said to his son, he said, after me you are the next Imam. Take care of my children, take care of the Ummah. My son Baqir, after I die, please wash my body. After I die, make sure that you put kafan on me. After I die, make sure that you buried me. Ya Imam Zayn al-Abidin, you are asking kafan, you are asking burial, you are asking salat. What happened to your father Aba Abdullah on the day of Ashura, when he was left for 3 days bila ghusl wala kafani? ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. يا حسين.
Hussein, 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 Hussein,
O my Imam Zainul Abidin, O my Imam Zainul Abidin, O my Imam Zainul Abidin, O Sajjad, you taught us the art of supplication. You showed us the power of prostration to make Islam our life's foundation, and how to ask Allah for salvation. Such is your status, O holy soul. You made Allah's love your only goal. O my Imam, O my Imam Zainul Abidin, O my Imam Zainul Abidin, O my Imam Zainul Abidin, O Sajjad, you were in prison, your feet were in chains, and on the chains splattered were your blood stains. Inside your heart were the scars of those pains, of what you saw that day on the hot plains. Oh, clear patience personified. You thanked Allah though your hands were tied. Oh my Imam, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh Sajjad, you saw your father's head on that spear, your mother's bareheaded and in fear. Your sister was treated so severe that blood was pouring down from her ear, and yet you were so brave that you spoke. And in that courtyard the world awoke. Oh my Imam, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh Sajjad, with quaking hands how you dug a small grave, a resting place for Sakina to lay. Her shroud was her shirt covered in blood stains, till the end of time, that's how she will stay. Until today she's so far from home, the prison so dark and she's alone. Oh my Imam, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh Sajjad, for 40 long years you kept on weeping, 'cause in your mind Sham kept on repeating the lashes you got and all the beating. For all these feelings there is no healing, those memories always will be raw, of what you heard, felt and what you saw. Oh my Imam, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh Sajjad, upon your deathbed you cried out and said, remembering Karbala your heart bled. Your 72 loved ones were all dead. Hussein your father now lay beheaded, and then the tents were burned to the ground. Your feet were tied and your hands were bound. Oh my Imam, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh my Imam Zainul Abidin, oh Sajjad.
Hussein, 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 Hussein,
hardships and cruelty we suffered. We were taken as displays in the streets, your family ill-treated and slandered. Oh, grandfather, if you could only, oh, grandfather, if you could only witness how we were abused in Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham, oh, Sham. The women and children were tormented by the image of heads on the spears. Their faces and heads were uncovered, their innocent faces were pierced. Oh, grandmother, if you could only, oh, grandmother, if you could only look at how we were helpless in Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham, oh, Sham. Our little Ruqayya had suffered. She longed to return to Medina. After Karbala, Kufa, and then Sham, she yearned for her sister Fatima. Oh, little Ruqayya, we miss you. Oh, little Ruqayya, we miss you. You died as a prisoner in Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham, oh, Sham. Oh, my courageous son Zainab, the origin of Islam was woken. Your sermons brought tears to the people because of the words that were spoken. Oh, Rasulullah, if you could only, oh, Rasulullah, if you could only listen to the way she spoke in Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham, oh, Sham. Our beloved fourth Imam Sajjad, we pray you take this as a token from the love in our hearts for you, Sajjad. These letters and words have been written. Oh, Bibi Zainab and Ruqayya, oh, Bibi Zainab and Ruqayya, invite us to meet you in Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham, oh, Sham, Sham.
Hussein, 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 Hussein,
Hussein, Hussein,
Hussein,
Hussein, Hussein,
Hussein,
Hussein, Hussein,
Hussein,
Hussein, Hussein.
Hussein.
When I remember them, oh Baba, my heart breaks with sadness, oh Baba. Kufa and Sham's tragedies, Kufa and Sham's tragedies, Kufa and Sham's tragedies, Kufa and Sham's tragedies. When I remember them, oh Baba, my heart breaks with sadness, oh Baba. Kufa and Sham's tragedies, Kufa and Sham's tragedies, Kufa and Sham's tragedies. In the markets of Kufa, in the midst of enemies, in the markets of Kufa, in the midst of enemies, they had made a spectacle of the Prophet's family. They had made a spectacle of the Prophet's family. They had even taken our chadar. When I remember them, oh Baba, my heart breaks with sadness, oh Baba. Kufa and Sham's tragedies. Kufa and Sham's tragedies. Kufa and Sham's tragedies. Little Sakina's sadness, no one can ever forget. Little Sakina's sadness, no one can ever forget. Everybody's hands were tied, she was tied by her neck. Everybody's hands were tied, she was tied by her neck. She was suffering in so much pain. When I remember them, oh Baba, my heart breaks with sadness, oh Baba. Kufa and Sham's tragedies. Kufa and Sham's tragedies. Kufa and Sham's tragedies. Every time someone asked Imam Zainul Abidin, every time someone asked Imam Zainul Abidin, oh Imam, where did you suffer the most tragedies? Oh Imam, where did you suffer the most tragedies? He repeated Sham over. When I remember them, oh Baba, my heart breaks with sadness, oh Baba. Kufa and Sham's tragedies. Kufa and Sham's tragedies. Kufa and Sham's tragedies. याद जब आ जाता है बाबा, दिल मेरा फट जाता है बाबा. कूफे का और शाम का मंजर, कूफे का और शाम का मंजर. Kufa and Sham's tragedies. Kufa and Sham's tragedies. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, 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 Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بسم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين ومن سيد الوصيين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيد النساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله والواحد حلت بفنائك. عليكم